it is time to move to our second panel for today, which is Embrace Equity. Oh, okay. So, what is embracing equity? Cultivating the mindsets and practices necessary to create an affirming, inclusive, and equitable educational ecosystem. Embrace Equity is the theme launched by the 2023 International Women's Day campaign. And what better topic to tackle than one from an organization, Art Connect Women's Cause, emulates speakers whose successful entrepreneurial portfolios and wellness instructors will take the stage to inspire and empower the women artists into achieving the best version of themselves that they can ever be. Equity isn't just a nice to have, it's a must to have. A focus on gender equity needs to be part of every society's DNA. Forging gender equity isn't limited to women solely fighting the good fight. Allies are incredibly important for the social, economic, cultural, and political advancement of women. And this panel will be led by our moderator, Ms. Marlene Murphy, founder and CEO of the Artpreneur, Group President, Philippines Partnership Circle. She's a multi-award winning social and women empowerment advocate, business finance technology strategist, and impact entrepreneur focused on creating social impact through market strategies and growing up enterprises that are ethical, transparent, and have a meaningful impact on our lives and society. An art enthusiast leveraging the power of arts to act as a catalyst of change, development, and transformation of enterprises in the creative industry. Founder of Tech World of Good, global initiative that aims at bridging digital divide through humanizing technology to drive positive impact in society, and founding partner of TechCo Forum. She's also the founder of WEB3 CEOs Roundtable, president of the Philippines Partnership Circle, and founder of philanthropic initiatives Kalinga Care and Aklat in collaboration with the government departments and private sectors in the UAE that promote multicultural experience and embracing diversity. Strategic partner of Art Connects Women, Marlene is certified finance and banking professional and qualified project management practitioner with MBA in international business management. Please help me welcome our dear moderator, Marlene Murphy. So I would like to call the panelists to join Ms. Marlene on stage. Daniela Nikolova, please. Asha Sharma. Emmanuel Dauphin. Abida Khan. And Patty Kennedy.
Hello.
Where there is hope in the future, there is power in the present. Thank you for that, Sadiqa. Very powerful message. Assalamu alaikum, marhaba, good afternoon. Happy International Women's Day to everyone and to the beautiful and amazing women in this state-of-the-art auditorium. Warmest welcome to the Arts Connect's women artists. Can we please give them a big round of applause? Greetings to the gentlemen in the auditorium as well. They are an integral part of women in this world. Thank you, the Arts and Mohammed bin Rashid. Yes, they are. Thank you, the Arts and Mohammed bin Rashid Library for hosting this wonderful event. And welcome to the second panel discussion for today on the topic Embracing Equity. I am the moderator of this panel, and I'm so delighted to be in this power-packed panel team with me. And as I was already introduced earlier, I am Marlene Murphy. I am the moderator, and we will start with everyone's introduction of themselves. And then after that, we will proceed with our engaging discussion in the panel. May I pass on the microphone to Ms. Asha?
Hi, beautiful ladies. First of all, thanks a lot for having us here. Thanks a lot for having me too. And thanks a lot for you girls for taking time out to be here. Thank you, girls. My name is Asha. I work as a financial advisor, and I carry experience of about 20 years. I'm in this industry since 2004, so it's almost 18 years. More than financial advisory, what I'm passionate about is financial literacy among women, actually. You know, not from any research journals or not from any book, but with my experience, what I have learned over the 18 years, out of 100, I meet one woman who take decision with their finances. Most of the time, I'm meeting people, I go their home or corporates or whatever it is. So see, what happens is, when a family is sitting, when they're discussing their finances, honestly, most of the time, women, you know, I'm not saying all, but a very large percentage of women are scared of numbers. Am I right? Yeah, so there I saw that there is a large gap in financial literacy among women and men. Women is very good in saving. You give them money, yeah, they are on top of it. But men is better at investing, actually. So this is what the financial literacy which I'm passionate about, and this is what I want to spread message among women. Thank you. I'll pass to my next, Patty.
Thank you very much, Asha. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to wish Happy International Women's Day to all of the beautiful sisters in the crowd today. And I always like to acknowledge our dear brothers who come along with us on this journey. We can't really do it without them. So thank you, everyone, for coming today. And thank you, Zahira, for allowing me this opportunity to introduce myself. I am Patty Kennedy. I am a Canadian living in Dubai. I have been a coach and an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur before we even used that word, way back when, too long to mention here. I'm passionate. I work with men and women. I don't really have a gender bias there, but I'm really, really passionate about working with women. And I work with women in communication and in leadership, but the core of my work is to help women not only find or uncover their voice, what I call their brave voice, but also how to play the most magnificent instrument in the world, the human voice. And it's the combination of what is our point of view, how do we stand upon our platform of what we hold to be true, beautiful, and good. And once we have that and we have our courage, how then do we present ourselves to the world in such a way that people lean in, not because they can't hear us, but because they are hanging on every word we say through this magnificent instrument. It's my passion, it's my joy, and I intend to do it till the last day I'm here. Thank you so much for having me today.
Hello to everyone who is present. I'm Daniela Nikolova, and it is a great honor to be here on such a beautiful day for all women and the men who support us. I'm passionate about helping both men and women, but predominantly women. It's just how it happened that women come more to me than men. Remember who they are and discover their gifts. I work with women in helping them find and sustain alignment and balance on physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual levels. I combine different techniques and healing modalities and my natural intuitive gifts. That was the path that I chose after a 3-year-long period when I was faced with numerous health challenges after my second child was born. And in that time, I just felt that I was losing myself to sickness, to only realize later that in fact, I was discovering my true self, my true voice, and the purpose that I'm here to serve, one of making a difference in the world. That was the period when I discovered deep compassion, which I believe is a great foundation to offer the work that I do currently. In a nutshell, I'm a transformational wellness coach, intuitive, emotional, and spiritual guide. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Emmanuel Dauphin. I come from the Seychelles, paradise in the Indian Ocean, where you all invited. May I take this opportunity to wish women happy Women's Day. I am a art teacher by profession, then I moved on to being special advisor to 3 different culture ministers. Now I am heading the creative Seychelles Creative Agency, which is an agency where we empower artists, and I believe in empowering everybody, both men and women, because one will not survive without the other. And it is very important, if I may say so, I feel like a thorn among 5 roses, but I'm very happy being there. And also, if we want to empower women sincerely, and we need to find equity, first of all, we've got to work with the men, not with the woman. Because women are not being empowerment because they are feared by men for their power. Women are powerful, much more powerful than us. So if we start with you men, then I'm sure the woman will be empowered. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abida. I'm from Danube Properties, and I'm taking care of sales, property consultant over there. And I'm really, this is an opportunity for me to be a part of this forum. Thank you very much for having me. And happy Women's Day to all the glorious women sitting out here and also, of course, around the world. Talking about the empowerment of women, I will say woman is already empowered by birth. This is only, just some topics we talk about. But if you really see, you are a mother, you are a sister, daughter, a wife. So it's really a big honor to have all these things together on its own. Yes, as my friend rightly said, that we have to empower both the sides, men as well as women. So actually it's giving respect to both the sides. Without this, we cannot empower each other at all. Talking about, for example, my background is, I'm coming from properties and sales of properties for sure. So why a woman should invest in properties. This is a big question these days, and I see a lot of my friends and families, most of the women, they want to invest in properties these days because of the fact that, of course, it's a security reasons also, and women is already empowered. They have the decisions to make. They have the power to take decisions now, and they are already earning, and to invest the capital in the best place, of course. So definitely, so all these things on its own come with women empowerment. Education is very important for sure. We'll go further for further discussion later at length. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much for the very inspiring introductions from all of our panel speakers for this afternoon. As a brief introduction of myself and what I do now at the moment is that I am an impact entrepreneur, and I am a business finance technology strategist with focus on creating social impact through market strategies and creating and growing enterprises with ethical, transparent, and positive impact to our lives and our society. I am also a social leader and a women empowerment advocate with great passion for arts. I strive to lead and build a legacy for future generations of leaders and achievers. I empower women through technology education, financial literacy, and financial inclusion. That's me in a nutshell. And now, speaking of embracing equity and women empowerment. In women empowerment, we heard about embracing equity, breaking the bias, gender equality. We hear all these call to action words everywhere. And we talk about it more on this day, especially because today is the International Women's Day. But the reality is that empowerment, women empowerment is every day. We are already powerful women. We are already powerful in our own rights and in our own capacity. Because I believe that women are nation builders, because we are the architects of society who established the institution of family life, build a home, bring up the children, and make them good citizens. Women's strength in totality contributes in the making of an ideal family, ideal society, and ideal country with equal capabilities that add tremendous value to the world. We all can make a tremendous difference right now through our thoughts, interactions, and actions every single day. Additionally, it is also important that our government and private sectors and social and private sector entities must consolidate efforts to work together in protecting women's social and financial welfare, as well as to incorporate women as key partners in the future success of the nation. Women empowerment is about finding solutions that have strong and long-lasting impacts. To me, women empowerment is education and financial freedom. Now, let's move on to our panel speakers to say the insights about what is really women empowerment. What is women empowerment to you? I'll start with Ms. Asher. From your perspective, your experience, and your insights about what women empowerment is.
Thank you, Marlene. See, women empowerment from my point of view, my opinion is it's having freedom to choose your own life. Empowering means when we empower someone with all the choices. When, like Marlene just said, that education and financial freedom. What I believe with my experience is actually education is truly a leveler. Education is something which can bring everyone on the equal footing. I was raised and I brought up in India till the age of 23. I was there still now when I go back to India, I see many parents still, prefer sending their sons to expensive schools, so-called, and their daughters to the less expensive school. Still, it's happening in the many parts of the world. I have some African friends and clients who tells me the exactly same thing. It happens. So education still is not provided to the women or to the girls at the same level. Education is level, as I said, education can bring all of us on equal footing. Empowerment will start first. If we need to do something, first is we need to educate. Women at every generation struggle for the next generation. So we women at this stage, or our generation, we are going to leave a legacy for our next daughters, granddaughters. And what best we can do is give them the best of the best education. Because education is one thing. If you leave to a child nothing, you leave them a $10 million to your girl, child, or boy, they can blow up that money in a month. But leave them with education. Give them ammunition of the education. All the wars and battles can be won. And second, Marlene, you just said financial freedom. I'm the biggest advocate of financial freedom. Because when you are financially free, when you are financially independent, you are automatically empowered. Empowerment could be social, it could be psychological, it could be economical, it could be political. But the spine, the backbone of the women empowerment will come when women is financially independent. See, I completely believe whosoever your husband is, whosoever your father is, maybe your father has a private jet or you are dating a man who is a private jet, you need to be financially independent. You need to take control of your money. If you take control of your money, then you have choices. You can live your life according to, then there is no discrimination basically. Right?
Thank you, Asha.
Thank you.
What Asha says reminds me of a young Nigerian girl I used to work with a long time ago. And she said, Miss Patty, when you educate a man, you educate one person. But when you educate a woman, you educate the entire village. My take on empowerment is just a little bit different. My colleague and dear friend Sadiqa and I, we've talked about this many times. You see, I'm in favor of women's empowerment, absolutely, until I found out that to empower means to give permission to. And I think, well, who am I to give permission to anyone? So I changed the way I look at it. And my job, and I think all of us up here on the panel, and all of us who are here today, it is to give women the tools that they need so they can give themselves permission to succeed, to stand up, to speak up, to be seen, to start their business, to believe in themselves. So I've really been changing my take on this in the last little while, because to me, I can't empower anyone because empowerment comes from within. I can lead by example, and I can coach my heart out. But my job is to give my women clients hope, ideas on how they can do it themselves, and tools. In the old days, we used to get up here and speak, and I would be in the audience sometimes go, oh, I love her, I want to be like her. And then I realized I didn't have a clue how to be like her. She didn't give me any duplicatable tools. I want women to know that every one of us up here, we are duplicatable. If I can do it, you can do it. To me, that is how I look at empowering women. And I think that when women give themselves permission, because, we take care of everyone else first, we forget about ourselves. But when we remember that self-love and self-care is so important to our personal empowerment, now we can move towards financial freedom. We can move towards expression, freedom of expression, freedom to be whom we were born to be. So for me, empowerment isn't something that I give. Women, we all have seeds inside of us, and I want to help women grow those seeds, just as I had teachers who helped me give myself permission to reach for the stars.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Paddy. I can relate to that because women empowerment, it's also about finding the power in you, and it starts from you. The action starts from you, and it's about developing that power and building your self-worth. And we know when you know your self-worth, you just continue developing it, and that will give you the confidence to communicate openly and clearly, and always challenge the status quo. Yes, thank you. Let's move on to Ms. Daniela.
Thank you. The way I view women empowerment, to me, this is creating a world, an environment where a woman feels safe to find her own gifts, to find her own values, to create her own definition of self-worth. This is a woman who comes already from an empowered state. This is a woman who has forgiven herself. And in my work, we release the limiting beliefs because women come with, I'm not good enough, I'm not a boy to be given this recognition, I'm not a man to be given that recognition, am I a failure? So when a woman releases those limiting beliefs, those different forms of conditioning, it's incredible. I see as if magic is unfold. And a woman she needs to be in the flow. This is the feminine energy. When a woman flows, the whole world actually glows, and this is the truth. So for me, women empowerment is creating that environment, creating that world where a woman can explore her gifts and feels rewarded and acknowledged for them. Thank you.
Well, empowering women, that reminds me of the song, it's a man's world, but it's nothing without a woman. So it means already women are empowered. But believe me, women, it's not going to come from anybody, from anyone, except yourself. When you know your worth, when you know what you are capable of, when you know what you want to be, only then you will be empowered. Others will guide you along the way. Others will help you. But all this will depend entirely on whether you want to help yourself. You want to continue being the housewife who's there to cook, bear children, or be scratching chickens around the house or soaring eagles. When you reach that stage, you will be fully empowered. You will be able to do what you want to do. As the lady previously said, we cannot dictate to you. Everything has to come from within. If you do away with all the insecurities, do away with all the burdens you are carrying, and then find yourself the partner, I don't say the man, but I say the partner that would be there for you, that would understand you, that will walk with you, then you are already and will be empowered.
Thank you for that, Emmanuel. Thank you, and we're really honored to hear that from the male gender of our society. And thank you for that very optimistic insight about women empowerment. But just a simple question: don't you think that one of the strongest kickstart of empowering women is for men to accept that women can equally do what is also capable of what men can do?
I totally agree with you. It's because, as I said earlier, men are afraid of the potential and the ability of women because women are more determined, they're stronger, and when they've set their mind to do anything, they will do it. The sky is their limit. And most of us men we probably would hide behind a successful woman, instead of that saying which goes behind every man there is a successful woman. No, it's not true. It's the opposite.
Mm-hmm. If I may share just my thought on that just very quickly, when do I feel, if there is ever an incident or a scenario where I feel I'm in power or I am powerful, is when. And I never take no for an answer from a man who is capable of saying yes to me. So just a little bit of a power for a woman. Yeah. So say like, men should actually encourage us. It's not about bullying or anything, but it's about giving us the appropriate appreciation of what we are capable of doing as a woman.
Absolutely.
Next, please.
So coming back to your question, and also continuing my words with my previous friend, I would say that to bring up a stronger society, or a good, powerful men, we need an empowered woman. It is said that a mother's lap is the first school of a child. If the mother is empowered, she will bring up a strong man, of course. And when we have good men, strong men in the society, we have strong society with values, with value systems. So this is very, very important, again, to come back to the original point, women empowerment. So we can empower women, first and foremost, is by education, by giving her freedom of speech, freedom of thought process, let her think, give her a freedom to fly. Also, the freedom of, where she can use her strengths. For example, if previously in our olden days, the woman was not allowed to study, but later on they were allowed to study, but they were not allowed to work, though they had all their capabilities, all these things, but still they were not allowed to step out from the home. Now we see women are all in all fields, whether it's like medical science or technology or aerospace, or you just name it and we are already there. So this is a kind of woman empowerment, and that's the reason the society is growing and prospering. Now talking about my field, relating my field and giving my inputs. So when a woman is having a capital or income, so where can she utilize her capital in good assets to create assets for her future? And creating assets is always giving freedom and security to a woman. So as I'm from a property background, I would say that if you have money, you should always utilize in a proper way, proper allocation of funds, proper allocation of capital and income. So if you have your assets, you will feel secure. And in this way, it is a kind of woman empowerment in the other sense as well. So I would say that this is quite related also with women empowerment.
Thank you. Thank you, Vida.
I mean, following on what my friend was saying, she made a point about women having capital and whatever. I believe we've got to be very careful. If we want to empower women, let us not make them think that money is the key. Because otherwise, this is when you end up having young women or older women doing the wrong thing to get money, thinking that this is the only way they will be empowered. Empowerment of women should not be just about money. It should be spiritually. It should be artistically. It should be according to their own ability. Everyone is different. Every woman is different in this room. So not all of you is going to be rich, but some of you could be top poets. Nobel Prize winners. So we've got to be very careful about that.
Women empowerment has been really a tremendous progress over the years. And there's more and more initiatives to make it better year on year. And there's a lot more to do, and that would depend on how fast we can develop it, and we can find solutions, and we can establish legislations to make that official. But still a lot more work to do about women empowerment. But do you think that gender equity, gender equality, I'm sorry, let me rephrase it. The lack of women empowerment, as we are now in our society, do you think it's a gender equality issue or an equity issue?
I would like to answer that.
Let me repeat the question. Is the lack of empowerment an equality issue or an equity issue?
You're right, Rashid.
To me, it's a bit of both, because while we have the equality is the goal, that's the goal that we want to achieve, the gender equality, but we have to embrace equity to get to that goal, to achieve that goal. So, Ms. Paddy, your thoughts?
Yeah, that's the thing, exactly. It's easy to measure equality, and gender equality is very, very important. There's no doubt about it. But we have to take a deeper dive, I think, into it, and we have to really look at equity. Whereas equality makes sure that everybody is getting basically the same treatment, equity means that we look more at the individual. And so you take, for example, differently abled people, or we have to make sure that we're including all of the aspects of humanity, because we're not all just cookie cutters. We're not just all cut from the same cloth. And so I think we have to, when we really fully address equity, and we make sure, I mean, we can talk about diversity and inclusion, but if we're not talking about equity and making it a deeper dive than just equality or just diversity, I don't think we're going to reach it. And our beautiful young lady from Salvador, who was with the United Nations, said we could be 300 years. The World Economic Forum says that we're at least 140 years away from this. And so it's really in our best interest. And when we work for women, we work for men. We improve the whole world. So I think it's not so much equality. I love what's happening here in the UAE. The sheikhs have an idea, and I don't know if it's at 2030 or 2040. They want 40% of the boardrooms filled with women. Well, this is great, but we have to make sure they're trained. You know, I had lunch the other day with a colleague from India, a young man, younger than my son even, and I was telling him about my program for women, Your Brave Voice. And he said, there you women go again. I thought it was all about diversity and inclusion. I said, it is, but as our brother Emmanuel says, it's been a man's world for a really long time. How do we get women into those boardrooms? How do we get women into the political system? We have to train them. We have to go for equity. You can give them equality. I remember once being on a call with women from the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia, and one of the women there was talking about in Yemen. She was working with women in Yemen, and they wanted to come to the table. So they came to the table, but they had nothing to say. We have to look deeper than just, I'll give you and you the same thing. We have to look at what needs do you have. Different cultures have different needs. I'm from the West. I'm Canadian. I've been brought up by a mother who said, you speak up, girl. You were born with a voice, you use it. I'm sitting next to a woman from India, and it's my experience with Indian women and many women from this part of the world. It's been a struggle to get that voice out there. The society and the cultures have had to change. So if we want to deal with privilege and equality and all these things, we must look at equity. And as our beautiful young woman from the United Nations said, and as Marlene has said, we will only get to equality through equity. And once we have established that, then the conversation for diversity and inclusion becomes really meaningful and not just words.
Actually, Marilyn correctly said that equity leads to equality. And I believe equity has to begin at home. As Patty said, we need to deep dive. Then the solution is that equity, we need to treat our sons and daughters equally at home. There is still a major share in the world, there are still many countries in the world, when women come home after the work, they are in charge of cooking. Cooking is loving, that's the way a woman show her love to the family. But you need to accept that she's tired too. Why does this happen? Because in those families, that was the culture, right? Boys were never taught cooking, actually. So it's the girls who were taught cooking, so they are taking the responsibility. So this is a very small example of equity, but equity has, it's one of the responsibilities not of governments. It will start from home. Equity has to be done at home, and parents has to take the responsibility. Then only we will achieve this equilibrium, then only we will achieve gender equality, actually. That's my opinion. Thank you.
I would like to just add that we should not be afraid of bringing up our sons with a feminist mindset. Some people freak out at that. I brought up my son to be a feminist. And you know about cooking, when he was 14, I said to him, you know, women really like a man who can cook. Do they? When he was 10, his father and I took him to the washing machine and the dryer and said, this is how they work. I never did his laundry again. He's very happily married because he's a gourmet cook and he's very good at cleaning the house and he's self-employed. His wife has a number of jobs. They're go-getters. So he will often say, sit down, Amber, let me make dinner tonight. And she's like, Miss Patty, you done raise a nice boy. So it does begin at home, and I don't think there's anything wrong with teaching that. And one thing I'm proud about being a Canadian, when we came out of the pandemic, or as we're coming out of the pandemic, our Prime Minister said something, I'll always love him for this. He said, we must use feminist economic policy to bring us out of this debacle that we find the world in. What did he mean? We have to think about the children. We have to think about healthcare, wellness, not just the bottom line, not just the big multinationals. We have to think about people and our kids. Who will feed the babies? So we shouldn't be afraid, I think, to bring up our sons in a feminist environment. And they do have very happy wives, I have learned.
The way I view the lack of women empowerment, I view it as a humanity issue. I don't just view it as equality or equity. We cannot separate the masculine from the feminine. How many women of us are sitting here, but your father still exists within you? How many men are here and your mother still exists within you? Every time humanity has separated feminine from masculine, there has been judgment, there has been suffering. The moment we qualify one of us as a superior and the other one as inferior, that's where we have no balance, that's where there is no equality, that's when there is no fairness. And fortunately or unfortunately, like Emmanuel mentioned, money has become the measure for success. So a lot of the women are going against their nature. They're adopting more masculine energy just because they yearn for that success. And that is leading to disruption. However, if we imagine a world which is more masculine, can you just imagine a world which is more masculine or predominantly masculine and mainly from the rational mind? And can you imagine a world which is mostly feminine, so quite emotional? We need both, just like the yin and the yang, just like the mother and the father for a baby to be born. So equality equals equity to me. And for many centuries, different ancient civilizations have worshipped the woman as an intuitive, as a priestess, as a seer, as a dancer, as a bringer of life, giver of life. And when the war started to happen, we started to keep women at home for protection. Unfortunately, that has become the standard. And yes, women need to get out and just show their gifts and be appreciated for that and be given acknowledgement. So Yeah, I believe that this is something which goes much deeper rather than just equality and equity. It's more about a transition that our humanity is being called to go through, especially with women awakening. Women want to be acknowledged, they don't want to be just kept at home anymore. So we are all here to support that movement by being who we are and staying connected to our feminine essence. Thank you.
Thank you. My friend made a very important point, and I would like to add on. I believe we must never forget that no matter how macho women feel, we are always carrying the female gene in us. So we are part women, part men. And the day we understand that, then probably we'll understand women better. But this is a side that within us has been suppressed by our parents. Why? A man should not cry. A man should be brave. A man should be this. This has turned us into monsters sometimes. But on a lighter note, I want to make I'll tell you a story, not a story, a reality, what is happening in the Seychelles. Actually, us within the Creative Seychelles Agency, we empower both men and women. We don't have a gender problem in the promotion of the arts. Everything is done fairly. I mean, women, they have the same opportunity as the men. And lately, based on the census we've done, we've come to realize that there are more female artists coming forward, more emerging young female artists. Last year, one female artist participated in the Biennale and sold her work in Venice. So we are doing our best, and we don't discriminate. We treat men, women, or everybody fairly and with equal opportunities. That's what we believe in.
I think the thought process is the major, factor which plays a vital role to empower women. It's not just equity or gender inequality or equality. This is the underlining thing is what we think about it, how we, bring our male child and female child, how we, educate them. For example, when both, small kids are playing, boy is always saying that, no, I'm a boy, I will drive the car. And you are a girl, you take care of the kitchen. So it's, it's just a mindset. From the childhood days only, it starts like that. But I believe that we as a parent, or we as a, as a responsible citizen, we should always, at our school level only, what now the education system is, it's happening in the school also. All the kids are playing with the same toys. Even I have seen the small kids, boys, they are playing with the kitchen sets. So as my friend, she said that when a woman is coming all the way from work, and why should she go and always cook for the family? So yes, it should come out of love, affection, but not that it is your responsibility that you have to take care of the kids. The woman has to take care of the kids and the family and the food and all those, cleanliness in the house. It should be divided. So this is again, how you think. And women empowerment, this is from the family as it starts. And if we have a right, rules and regulations in the family, and the right approach, also right thought process from the family itself, we will have a strong society and a women-empowered society. Again, it should not be only women empowerment. Again, as you said rightly in the beginning that the men and women should be equally empowered and they should be equally treated. Wherever they go, see, we go to the hospitals, we have both male and female doctors, and when we sit in front of a male doctor, he's a doctor. Or if we sit in front of a female doctor, she is a doctor, not more than that. So we have to keep the values in place, and always education is vital role, 100%, because it totally changed the mindset of, when a person is educated, he understands the value of the other person and the importance of, being respected and give that due respect to the other person. So this is the balance, and when the balance comes in the society, the empowerment is automatically there. It goes parallel, hand in hand.
Thank you, Avida. We all believe that equity leads to equality. Would either be equality or equity, it boils down to one thing. It boils down to one thing: support for each other. Let's support each other. Let's have the right support network to materialize that. And I personally believe that one of the biggest or strongest stumbling block, and why a strongest factor, biggest factor that's stopping us from gaining our power is fear. That's stopping us from unleashing our power from within us. Because fear is, when you are fearless, you can do everything because you are confident. But fear always stops us from doing that because we fear of failure. We don't want to try. But believe it or not, that if we just keep trying and doing our best, and we know what we want to do, and we know we are clear with our goals of achieving women empowerment for ourselves and for the people around us, that would be possible, and it would be a quicker and faster route for all of us. Okay, moving on to the next question. Speaking about support, having the mentor, the right mentor and support network, how do you think can we stand in solidarity with each other? As women, and Mr. Emmanuel, you can answer that from the male gender perspective of how can you support or stand in solidarity with women? In supporting women empowerment. Is there anything you can suggest, or a plan or action plan that we can execute that would help speed this up?
Sure. Actually, right now what we are doing, that's basically falls into the category of social empowerment. This is one of the ways, right? We are trying to empowering women through social media, thanks to, I call her Zaria, that she has created this platform. Such networking, such platforms really help. The mentor in life is extremely important. It's not only sticking to one mentor, but you can have 2, 3 mentors. It doesn't make any difference whether your mentor, you are learning from male or female. I work in a finance industry, which is completely a male-dominated industry. Like, I'll just give you one example. Let's not go to other nations or international level. Walk in the DIFC. Just go through the asset management companies. 90% of the managing directors sitting in DIFC are males, actually. So, it doesn't... If I want to learn something for the finance and I want to have a mentor as someone who's sitting as a managing director in asset management company, it doesn't make me any difference. But that, I mean to say that mentorship, you need to have someone. Like, I take personal example, I'm very, very impressed with Indra Nooyi, who is ex-CEO of PepsiCo. I read her books, I listen to her. So there are different ways, these networking, different groups. Like, I do personally, whenever I meet my friends, I tell them about stocks, I try to teach them financial literacy. So, with each other, whatever like Paddy, whatever I can learn from, I'll try to learn what she can learn from me about finance or stocks or whatever. This is how we empower each other. We don't need to make it very big and wild ambitions. No, small things, small actions, small steps, it makes the things bigger. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. I think that's really true. I love this topic. I could go on for days on this topic. I wonder, Marlene, I think the first time we met was about 5 years ago here in Dubai, and I was speaking at a women's summit. And I asked all the women to stand up and make a pledge that I will no longer throw a sister under the bus. In my long, long career, there's been one man that has tried to undermine me. I can't even count the number of women who have tried to bring me down. We can talk about women's empowerment until the cows come home. But until we come together, and my colleague Daniela can speak about yin energy, we've been somehow co-opted into this competitive mode. Competition is not natural to us in our inherent yin energy. We are intuitive. We are collaborative. This, to me, is the biggest holdup for all of us women who are trying to get somewhere. Really, I mean, I've been coached since I was 10. I had a dream as a Canadian, of course, as a figure skater, to make it to the Olympics. I almost made it, but I didn't quite. I've been coached since I was 10. I'm pretty darn old now, and I have many coaches still. So I agree with you with the mentors, and always feel free. Women, reach out. To ask for help is a strength. It's not a weakness. As Brené Brown lets us know, vulnerability is the new strength. But we can talk and talk and talk. But if we don't stop gossiping about one another, if we don't start nagging and this has got to stop. We are annihilating our own hope. I'm sorry, I'm so passionate. I could give a lecture now, and I'm not going to. But I'm looking at all of you, and you're nodding your head. And let us make an agreement. Here's what I always say. Don't throw the sister under the bus. Everyone is here to fulfill their dream. And who am I to interrupt someone's dream? Thank you. I'm just like so passionate. So here's what I say. If you don't like what she's doing, walk away. Wish her luck. Let her walk her own path. As one of my favorite teachers, Ram Dass, says, we're only here to walk each other home. Let's quit this nagging and I want to say the B word, but I won't, but you know what I'm talking about. Let's stop it. Let's support each other. To me, this on International Women's Day is the greatest gift we can give ourselves and we can give our sisters.
I couldn't agree more with Paddy, because for me, solidarity, to come into support of each other, first we need to cultivate the emotions and the qualities of compassion and unconditional love within ourselves. First, we need to forgive ourselves. We need to accept the totality of our beings. We need to constantly practice connection to the divine, to God, to Allah, however you want to call the supreme love. Because to me, this is what leads to solidarity naturally. We're naturally, as you said, it's unnatural for us to compete, to...
Rearing is really, that responsibility is totally given to the mother. And unless the fathers start to take responsibility, to share that responsibility, it's very difficult for the mother to go, whatever industry she has her career, it's very difficult for her to do both. Well, I mean, it's possible, but there isn't really yet that mind shift with regards to hands-on looking after the kids. And the question is, how do we get it here? I mean, in Europe, you have fathers who ask for paternity leave, and they get it because they want to be part of that process. We're still quite a long way behind here. How do you think this mind shift about that fundamental responsibility of child rearing can start to, or the value of that, can this start to be kind of awareness how to engage the fathers more?
I'll just add something to what you said actually. Without men's support, women can't succeed. Actually, you are right. Like, I'm a mother. I'm working for the last 18 years. If my father wouldn't have invested on me, I wouldn't have reached here. First is my father. Then is my brother, who always stood by me. Then it was my husband, actually. When I'll come home, we'll take turns to take care of the babies. So you are very right. Actually, it's not about only female. It's the male who play equal roles in women's success. But how do we, in Europe, yes, people take paternal leaves and they're 6 months, 8 months, even some countries they are giving 1 year. Someone can add this thing here. What are the government rules here?
I was talking to someone this morning. So I grew up in North America through the Cultural Revolution of the late 60s, the early 70s. And it was all kinds of revolution. It was the beginning of the feminist revolution. It was the beginning of the civil rights. It was anti-war. It was a great time of tremendous social turmoil. It's really, when we talk about women empowerment and gender equity and equality, it's not just for our daughters. It's for our sons. And it's up to all of us who are mothers. I mean, yes, we have wonderful men as well, but there are still a lot of men, and even in the West, women still do most of the housework, etc. But it's up to us now to raise our sons. We must understand, in my opinion, that equity and equality is as much for my son as it is for a daughter. I spent a long time in North America with the First Nations people, the Native Indians, and here's something I want to leave you with. They taught me, all of them. We live today for babies not yet born for 7 generations. 7 generations is what they forecast it will take us to reach equity and equality. But it's up to us, to we women, because it's our yin energy. It's our nurturing energy. It's up to us to raise our boys to understand that they are, maybe gender, they're different. Maybe they might have bigger muscles, but that does not negate their sisters. It has to start in the home. And we have wonderful men who can help us, but let's be honest, it's really up to us mothers to get that ball rolling. It has to start with us, I think.
And I just wanted to add something else, because I work with a lot of women who have just given birth and they really find it a struggle that they're not receiving so much help. So something that I work with them is how to express their needs, to speak openly and clearly and to ask for it, for what is needed. And it's very interesting, when we work on that shift within the woman, the man responds. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but if a woman has a very strong intention and say, no, this is very important to me, it's all about how we communicate with each other. And very often we think that the man is a mind reader. I've done it so many times. Oh, he's not doing this. And then, I just fall into that trap. But when I started communicating, when I started expressing my needs, all of a sudden I actually realized that he had no idea what I needed, because he was okay. He thought that I was okay because I wasn't speaking. So this is just something else that is helping find that balance. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? I can take one. Yes, please.
We'll take one more question, please.
Hello, it's such a pleasure to listen to such powerful women, such inspirational women. But I cannot resist to mention that there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of those that are through violent masculinity that in fact leads us to wars, imposes wars. Hundreds of thousands of women are exposed to systematic raping. Girls that are now not in position to listen to this, to reach to any of these informations and to be empowered do not have a basic conditions concerning their hygienic needs, concerning their basic rights. And how can we forget that even in Europe, in Switzerland, the right to vote to women in one of cantons was given in 1990, almost at the threshold of 21st century. So how can we address this problem? I have met today so many beautiful artists, wonderful artists. How many thousands of potential artists do not have any condition to express, to exercise that potential? And what is our role facing that condition? Can we forget that?
I don't want to steal the microphone. It's a woman thing. I don't know if this is going to answer your question, but you know, I was a radio journalist in Canada, and in 1993, I had the opportunity to have a long interview with the Dalai Lama. And we were talking about many things, and I asked him, what do you think is the greatest threat facing humanity? Now, this was 1993. And he said, it will be men in power with their love of war toys that will take us to the edge of the brink of destruction. And it will be the women of the world who will bring us back. I said, how? He said, with your voice. We must speak for those who cannot speak yet. Speak. Self-love, we have to show this to them. And I do believe that the Dalai Lama is right, that it will be the yin perspective, the cooperative perspective, and our voices. So this isn't just one day that we talk about this. This has to become a way that we live now. I don't know if that completely answers your question, because some of the echo, I didn't hear everything you were saying, but that reminded me that our voices are so powerful. And we need to speak for those who cannot yet speak for themselves. Sisterhood is powerful, as we used to say in '68.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone
In
else?
as much as,
Yeah, you want to say? You sure?
any more questions?
No.
In as much as we would like to take on more questions from the audience, we have very limited time because there's one set of speakers coming up on stage. Well, on behalf of my panel speakers here and myself, thank you very much for listening and for staying with us. You're truly a very engaging audience. And my message to everyone, this is not just for women, but for men as well, that speaking of supporting each other, we will do it together. We cannot just do it as women. So let's continue building and enriching a world where diversity and inclusiveness are embraced and differences are celebrated. We come from different countries, we have all our own capabilities at different stages and from all walks of life, but we're just one. We're one human being, and let's help each other. Thank you.
And please stay with us on stage. Thank you so much for this interesting panel. And I would like to leave you with food for thought. Purpose precedes existence. That means each one of us has a seed inside of us, inborn seed. And all we need to do to become the human we were meant to be is to water that seed. So how about we start raising human beings and we step out of the male-female box?